Hello, Aries. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Now, let's take a look. We have the Princess of Discs, one of my more favorite archetypes. I love this card. It's beautiful, especially in the Thoth deck. You can take a look. Very like forest goddess vibes, right? It reminds me somewhat of like maybe Diana or, yeah, and don't get me started. I'm not good with all of the names of the Norse goddesses. So I won't even begin to pretend. But yes, it reminds me of a very wilderness related goddess energy. Now, it says that the Princess of Discs is pregnant, and you might be able to see that. You can kind of see her stomach and everything else coming into that readiness to have a child. And so this is a beautiful, beautiful image that's all about manifesting, in my mind anyways. It's about being able to take the abstract things, your thoughts, your your plans, the things that you are creating, your innovations, and birthing them into the physical realm. Now we know that the disc energy is aligned with the earth. So this is very much about that material world, our waking life. And so, yeah, it leads me to believe that you are, if you had a project going, for instance, you've already done the planning, you've gotten the stuff together, now you're ready to start actually performing, right? The whatever it is. If you're going to paint a picture, now you're ready to start painting. If you're going to build a house, now you're going to start working on that foundation. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to spin this thing around real quick, and then we're going to knock. And we do 3 knocks. I like to think that it is to be polite. And you'll have to forgive my voice, and I have some coughing. I've been sick here for the last, I don't even know how long. Excuse me, for a while now. I had a little reprieve for about 3 weeks. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be the best flu season ever. We're getting back to not getting sick all the time. And of course, there's been an outbreak of influenza A and pneumonia here. So, yeah, it's been, it's been pretty wild. All right. So anyways, I want to thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome, 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 Aries. You know I love you. Excuse me again. And we're going to take a look here. We're just going to spin this thing. So it does look like the giant crescent moon. So we're going to definitely be starting with some lunar energy. Now we also have a face. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. And this is within that crescent, okay? So we are sneaking up here in a few days on the new moon, okay? And I do feel like there's probably been a lot of emotional outbursts lately, and I believe that's why we're seeing such a large moon here. It feels almost like, like the tide, right? If you know about the ocean or the tides that come in and out, that's when the water comes up onto the beach and it gets deep. And then as the tide recedes, it goes back out, and yeah, the beach gets bigger, right? Because there's no water on it. And this is all because of the moon, right? The moon, our satellite, our beautiful satellite. It does. It definitely rules over the ebb and flow of things. And so I feel like there has been this almost surge of emotional stuff happening. It doesn't feel like it's one thing, but we're going to look more and see. I feel like there's more sense of just being kind of worn out, right? You've been working really hard. You've been pushing through one ordeal after another. And I feel like maybe it is even that things have settled down, and now that you can catch your breath and you can stop and you can think, oh, it all hits you, right? You're like crying in the car, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if you wear makeup or not, but I do sometimes. Well, most days I would say. But there's always that day where I do a little extra and I'm like, oh, my little eyeliner looks nice and my little mascara looks nice and everything, you know, it's just, it's like even and all of that. And then of course that's going to be the day, right, where I have that moment where I'm sitting at a red light and something, you know, a song on the radio comes on, or I look over and I see a stray dog or something and I'm just crying. My makeup's all messed up. You know, and you know, I think that this is the feeling that I'm getting from you, is that it's an unexpected emotional turbulence, okay? And not that you like always are prepared for something emotional to happen, but I feel like this really kind of took you by surprise. So I'm wondering if there is some kind of anniversary coming up, maybe something that you have overlooked. Maybe this is like, you know, the anniversary of somebody who has passed away. Maybe their birthday is coming up. I remember listening to this thing about how there are times when we start to feel not ourselves, or we start to get really emotional, like we're talking about, or maybe angry, or there's just anxiety. You might be feeling forlorn and melancholy, and you're just kind of like, what's going on? What is this funk I'm getting into, right? And then you kind of go and look at the calendar and it hits you, okay, this big event that happened in my life, right? I totally forgot that it's coming up, but it's like your body, your subconscious, it knows before we even know. And, you know, I feel like a lot of that has to do with, we take cues from what's going on around us, right? If you maybe, like, for instance, lost your mother in the middle of summer, right? Your mind-body connection, right, is going to remember when we're getting into those hot, hot days and the trees look a certain way and the certain flowers are blooming. We remember. This is what it was like when that thing happened. And it might not come to the front of your mind, but you know. And so I feel like there is something going on. And it does deserve a little bit of care, I think. And it is to be soft with yourself. To be, to be that mother, right? To be that loving, caring, nurturing, and maybe even extra careful, right? Now, I don't know that the princess is a first-time mom, right? But I imagine, because she's the maiden becoming the mother. And so if you've had kids, or if you've been around people who have had kids, there's kind of the stereotype of a mother overdoing, over-worrying. We always do, no matter how many kids we have. But that first child, whew, that one's a doozy, isn't it? Because you don't know what the heck you're doing, you know? And it's like, there's such a learning curve there. And so there is a sense of being overly involved. Maybe even a little bit of a helicopter parent, or, you know, whatever. And I feel like that's maybe the energy that you need to have with yourself right now. making sure that you're checking in with yourself, making sure that you are doing the things that make you feel better, make you feel good, eating well, whatever that means for you, moving your body, doing intentional movement, getting fresh air. If you have the sun available to you, getting a little bit of sun, here it's been like negative 10 degrees during the day, and we still have the sun, thankfully. Me and the cats, we're like sitting in the window trying to take in as much as we can. And sleep. That's the other big thing. Making sure that you are getting enough sleep, that you're getting deep and restorative sleep. Okay, so going back to those really kind of fundamental self-care, things, right? Just the very basic stuff we need to do to keep ourselves going. Okay, to maybe do a little reset and get back into that more even energy. Okay, now we're going to keep moving this, and it looks like we have a horse. It does not have anybody riding on it. So this is the thinking about getting started or getting moving, right? The horse to me always represents this want, this desire, or the actual action of moving, changing, getting going with something. So to me, it almost kind of feels like there is a little bit of, resistance. Maybe there's a little bit of fear about taking this next step. Maybe there is fear about what is coming next. Again, if you've ever had kids, especially that first one, I don't care if you're the one birthing the child or if you are involved in some way, if you are, one of the parents, or maybe you're a grandparent, or, whatever, you're a support person. No matter what, everybody is going to be nervous about the arrival of this child. Of course, happy, excited, but still worried, right? And so, especially if you're the one going through the physical process of creating and birthing something, right? This is a feeling that really, I feel like, emphasizes how alone we can feel in the world, because nobody can do it for you, right? You have to do this. There's no other way around it. And that's what it is with the kid, right? You can't keep the kid inside. You can't, you can't just I'll put it off for another couple of weeks. It's going to happen. And so I feel like you are in that place where you are. You're trying to kind of talk yourself into, let's get moving here. Let's go on to this next part, because I really feel like, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have a couple drinks here because of my throat and I don't even want to say the word because I'm going to start doing it, but coughing, not anything else. We also have the letter T repeated, but yes, getting going, because I feel like once you are in the thing, it's like, it just is smooth sailing. Okay. And that's really the vibe I'm getting from all of this. Now we have a dog, okay. We have a large E, and it's a capitalized E. So imagining this is maybe a name, and I keep thinking that this dog over here, it kind of reminds me of one of those little Scottish terriers. A very barky little dog, but sweet. There she is. So this is like, it feels like it maybe is like an aunt or grandmother. I'm thinking maybe grandmother. And you can see her right in the center here. Here's the head. Here's the body. Now, there's also a face right next to her. Here are the eyes, the nose, the mouth. We also have an older feminine person over here. You can see the head, the body, the legs. We also have, it looks like a goose. Another goose up here. And we have this repeated almost spiral. Okay, and up here as well. Now, we have the dog, and I feel like the dog is maybe, was this grandmother or auntie's animal, companion. It seems important, so I wonder if you, like, spent your summers there, or, you know, anytime your parents had to go do something, or you stayed a lot on the weekends, or, you know, whatever. I feel like you were close to this person. Now, I do feel like when you were young, you maybe did not understand why they were so kind of cold, maybe even very stern or sharply spoken. And I think that this made you kind of almost fear them. I almost, like, I'm imagining in my head, and I guess this all makes sense because of the dog, but the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz before she's the witch, right? When she's the neighbor, I forget her name, but if you can remember back to this movie, yeah, she was pretty mean, right? And she went out of her way to cause problems with people. And even so, I feel like you still really connected with this family member, with this feminine role model in your life. And I think for you, it really taught you to be able to see through, like, that hard outer, you know, what's armor that people wear, right? To be maybe even kind of mean or cruel or, you know, dismissive or just, you know, not even patient or giving you any time or whatever. But you see that this is the way that they protect themselves. They're so unpleasant to other people so they can keep people away from them. Because whatever happened in their life, you know, they don't trust people. And so I feel like for you, you were able to get in there. You were able to know them. And I feel like this gave you the capacity for lots of empathy in life and to be way more understanding than most people are. Excuse me. And I feel like this translates over into the work that you do. Now, the spiral. I feel like there will be some kind of symbolism that will come up. Or just maybe you're going to be seeing spirals a lot, noticing them in your daily life, right? Just like painted on something or on like a package or a book cover or, you know, whatever. It just keeps showing itself to you. And so that's something to look out for sure. Now, the other thing I want to talk about here is I feel like there are two love interests. We have the number 2, and then we have the arrow. Excuse me. And we have what looks like Angie, maybe ANGI, or Aunt. Well, no, not. I was gonna say, no, that's not gonna work. Angie, yeah, I think it's like Angie. And then we have the number 60 right up here, 60. But I feel like you have two people who are vying for your attention. Oh, we have that spiral again. It reminds me now of, this one looks like a wave. We also have, oh, we said, yeah, the letter T. But yeah, I feel like you have two people. Two people who are trying to court you. Oops. Two people who, I feel like you've been talking to them for a long time. It's not new. These might be like your side pieces. No. I feel like they're probably friends. But I feel like these are people who are in love with you. And I think that you know that. I don't think anything is going to change in that department, but I don't think you want it to. I think you prefer to have the friendship over the process of trying to combine lives with somebody. I almost wonder if you maybe are a single person and you're like super down to just stay single, right? Don't blame you. Although, you know, let me just say, because you guys know my husband. I do love my husband very much. He's amazing. And, you know, he'll say the same thing to you. We're both very solitary people. And as much as we love each other, and of course, I hope that we spend the rest of our days together, you know, we both like to be alone. We both would probably be pretty okay with being alone. But sometimes you just fall in love, right? And shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. Go check him out. He's amazing. Yeah, so I do kind of feel like in this next period of time, there is a focus on this new work that you're doing, on this new, whatever enterprise you're getting into. That's the focus at the end of the day. But getting yourself kind of back into feeling good physically, feeling good emotionally, psychically, and doing this work. All the other stuff is really neither here nor there, right? Love is wonderful, but I don't think it's what you're interested in. You know, it's not your driving force right now. Okay? Excuse me. And I feel like, you know, money is always a concern. Of course, it is for all of us. But I do see we have this dove up here, and I feel like there is a real peace kind of lying over the lands, right? So I feel you really ending up doing pretty dang well for yourself. And, you know, I feel that an Aries person is one of the few kinds of people that would take a lot of success and not let it go to your head. Like, you're going to be the same person no matter what, right? And not to say that you will never change, right? Or you're never evolving. Of course you are. But if people are watching or if people are not watching, if you're making that money or you're just, you know, kind of, you know, trying to make that money, it doesn't matter. You're going to be on the same wave, right? You're just going to be who you are. And so I feel like that dedication to your authentic being is so, it's what keeps you able to recharge, right? You're not living a lie. And that might sound just like, you know, whatever, you're living a lie. Everybody's living a lie. Well, yeah, a lot of us have, you know, just all kinds of random little things that we are not living authentically, right? And it is beyond tiring, right? For anybody. It is very tiring to pretend to be something that you're not. We all do it, right? We all do it. And that's why we're all so burnt out. I mean, it's one of the reasons. But in Aries, you are one of the exceptions, very rarely do you put on that mask, right? Now, sometimes we all have to do that. There's no shame in it. Sometimes we do. It keeps us safe. It keeps us able to navigate through the work we're doing, being out in the world, all of that stuff. But for you, I feel like you've come to a point in your life where you less and less are willing to put a mask on. And I mean a persona, right? And I think that is the thing that has, it's helped you evolve. It's helped you grow as a being. Not everybody loves it though, right? Because when you have an authentic being who is about what they say they're about, and they collide with somebody who is living in a delusion about themselves, about the world, about other people, ooh, that is conflict there. Somebody living in a lie does not want to be met with somebody who is living open and honestly and, following their intuition and their truth and their true nature and all that. That is offensive to the person that is living under the lie. It's confronting because it really highlights the way that they're living doesn't necessarily feel that great, living under false pretenses all the time. So I do feel once in a while, keeping it real doesn't go too far, right? No. It is, you know what though, Aries, it really is the keep it real side. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to roll this thing. 40. All right, our first lucky number, 40. 76. 76. Where did it go? I just lost it. No. Yeah, there it is. I was like, wait, is it 67? No, 76. 76. And one more. One more. What are you going to be? 72. Very nice. We're in the 70s. All right. I'm just going to knock everything over. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. We'll stop, or we'll finish. We will finish with our self-care affirmation cards. I'm going to flip through. Stop where it feels right. Community sculpture. I cultivate the skill of friendship. Like a sculptor with marble, I mold my community of friends. That world is full of friends I have yet to meet. What? Oh, like a sculptor, I mold my community of friends. I like the sentiment. I absolutely do. I also am imagining somebody who has like a room full of, like, what are those pillow things? The anime pillows? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like an anime girl on a pillow. And I'm not talking bad about anybody, but that's what it reminds me of. Like, I'm molding my friends. I'm creating my friends out of clay. Yeah, I mean, I'm down with that. That sounds cool. My best friends are my cats. So, but they don't let me mold them. They actually are the ones that are, molding me. They have me trained really well, actually. I go and I feed them when they yell at me. I clean their box. When they want pets, they get pets. So anyways, I want to tell you I love you, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It really is my honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, we're going to talk in a few days. Again, thank you for putting up with my voice. I haven't filmed in like 2 days because, I've been sick, and I've been so tired. That's the big thing. I've been so tired, And I tried to do some readings the other day, and they were okay, but they were just messy. And yeah, so all this gunk in my head, it really is. It's really like I have worms in my brain. All right. So anyways, Aries, I love you. Thank you. We'll talk soon. Good night.